Today, I'm excited to share with you my other Porsche.
Garage time.
But before you unsubscribe, the 911 will be back in a few weeks. Once the fresh paint has a little bit more time to cure, it'll be back. That restoration is going to continue, and I hope to have that car drivable this year. So stay tuned. I'm going to try to catch you guys up on this car's restoration story. It's a long journey and not for the faint of heart. This story starts back in 1998. I bought this car in the middle of nowhere in the California desert, $5,000. I towed it home that day, but it didn't take much to get it running okay. I knew it had some bubbles in the paint, but once I started poking around, my heart sank. Now I'm pretty committed. Time to learn how to weld. At this point, it was still a rolling restoration. I was driving it around on the weekends for fun, and then I heard some knocking noises. Someone put in a roller bearing crankshaft. I switched it out for a plain bearing and did a quick rebuild. I really enjoyed driving the car around, and I drove it for a couple years. This is when it got serious. I built this octagon rotisserie. This allowed me to easily reach to the bottom of the car. This used to be the jack spur. This is my kid. He's now 16. The other side was no better, but I'll spare you the details. This is the rear seat area. This is about the time that I started using the TIG welder for everything and haven't looked back. This is the rear engine bay. There's a little shelf that collects a lot of water. Front torsion tubes here. The battery box has been completely removed. It was trashed. Someone beat up this front latch panel to the point where I just had to cut it out, replace it with another one. Big surprise, more rust here on a horizontal surface. This is the rear quarter window. So you can see the car is now totally upside down, and it really shows how misaligned this rear valence is. I believe this was a European delivered car based on these license plate holes, the location of the rear reflectors, and also the speedometers in kilometers an hour. Moving on to the doors now, they were both about equally as bad. I'll just show you one side. I formed this lower door skin out of flat sheet. This is the inner frame of the hood structure with a horrendous repair. I de-skinned the hood so I can access that frame. I cut the frame, made a new section, and spliced it all back together again. The passenger side nose was beyond repair and the headlights weren't even pointing straight, so I cut it off. But just because there's a new replacement panel doesn't mean it fits any better. I had to reshape the whole lower flange to match the original side, and I had to reshape the cutouts. I found the Grand Canyon of Bondo. Someone softened up these rear bumper reliefs. They weren't factory. I made this hammer form and tried to restore them the best I could. At some point, the hood must have flown up and damaged the cowl, put a weird dent here. So I had to do some cutting, welding, hammer and dolly to straighten it back out. There was also a strange hump here near the cowl vents, and I compared my template with another car, and it was off by like 3/16 of an inch. Here I cut some more rust out near the front fender where it meets the door, and reshaped all this metal to line up. Now I'm at the trailing edge of the door, fixing more rust. Sure enough, there was more rust in the passenger side A-pillar, so I cut it out and rebuilt it with all the inner structural pieces. The factory used lead here to smooth out these transitions, and so did I. They also used lead around the doors, so that's how I got these nice door gaps. Someone ground this fender a little too thin, so I had to cut the edge and splice in another patch. Here's the passenger side rocker welded in, but it also needed some modifications and changes to the wheel arch. And of course, new floors with seat mounts. The front and rear bumpers were original, but in bad shape. I ended up having to restore all the hardware and actually cut and section them to fit again. They had been so stretched out over the years. I mocked up and trial fit all the chrome prior to sending it to Mario. This is about the same time I got the 911. So there you have it, you're all caught up. I mean, those are the highlights. Obviously, there's more little niggly details. I didn't show every single thing, but that's where we're at. I mean, it's a difficult car to restore. I learned a lot. Was it really worth $5,000? Maybe that wasn't such a good deal. It doesn't matter now. The most difficult part is over. Man, time flies. I'm sure you guys have tons of questions and comments, so let her rip. I do my best to try to get back to each and every one of you. Also, I have one more space available in my TIG welding workshop. So if you want to learn how to do this kind of work and save money and save time, then please sign up today. Click this right here.